What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm talking about the sneaker releases at the end of August and whether I think they're gonna sit or whether I think they're gonna sell. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't. If you didn't already know, at 250,000 subscribers, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway for a pair of off-white Prestos. The pair right back there actually. Bruh. It's just sort of a small thank you for you guys for sticking with me and helping me get to this crazy milestone. So like I said, that giveaway will be going down when I actually hit 250,000 subscribers, so make sure you're subscribed down below to be eligible. Also, I'll be giving you guys more information about the giveaway on my Instagram and my Twitter at RealSethFowler, so make sure to give those a follow. Also, one last thing, huge shout out to Reshoevnator for sponsoring today's video. Reshoevnator is my go-to when it comes to all my sneaker cleaning needs. Reshoevnator helps me keep my shoes fresher for longer, and that's obviously the end goal with cleaning products like this. So if you're interested in checking out Reshoevnator for yourself, make sure to click the link at the top of the description and use my discount code SETH for 10% off your entire order. But with all that out of the way, let's jump straight into the video. If you guys aren't familiar with how this series works, let me fill you guys in. Twice a month, I go over the important sneaker releases of that month and let you guys know whether I think each shoe is gonna sit or whether I think it's gonna sell. As always, it's important to keep in mind that you should only buy a pair of shoes because you want to buy that particular pair of shoes and not because some random guy on the internet told you to. Plus, sometimes I get the sit or sell ratings wrong, so if you're buying a shoe because you think it's gonna sell out and that you can resell it, do some research before you do that and don't just go off what I'm saying in this video. But with that being said, let's jump right into the first day, August 16th. The first shoe releasing on August 16th is the Air Max 95 Total Orange. This shoe is fine, I guess. It's not incredible. It's not something that I personally want to pick up. It's got sort of a tonal upper with darker colors at the bottom, fading into more of like a tan or light cream color at the top. Of course, there are hits of orange throughout. I wouldn't say that the entire sneaker is orange, so I'm not sure why it's called the Total Orange colorway, but hey, you know what? That's Nike's naming scheme for you. This is one of those shoes that I think is a little bit harder to predict because it has this very cool sort of OG vibe to it, but it's still not an incredibly hyped sneaker release. So for stuff like this, I usually say that it's gonna sell out on the sneakers app, but you probably could find it in store if you decide to go out to your local sneaker store. So based on that, overall, I think I'm gonna have to give the shoe a sit. Next up is the Vapor Max Mach 2 in black light cream. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know I'm not really a Vapor Max fan, and the Mach 2s, or even just the Mach 1s in general, I like even less. I think removing the laces and making the shoe look even more like a sock on some Tide Pods was a bad decision overall. And to be fair, I think this black and cream or black and white colorway that's dropping is probably the least offensive out of all the colorways that are dropping. I still don't like this shoe at all. And I think a lot of sneakerheads will agree with me on that, so for that reason, I think this shoe is gonna sit. Next up is another Vapor Max Mach 2, this time in Gunsmoke, which is sort of a dark gray. Same situation, but somehow worse. Still don't like this shoe at all, and I just don't see anyone running out to grab the shoe, so I think this shoe is probably gonna sit. Next up, we've got the Foamposite Pro in Sequoia Black Orange. This is actually one of the cleaner Foamposite Pro colorways to drop in a long time. I grew up in Baltimore, which is a huge Foamposite city, so there will always be a soft spot in my heart for the Foamposite and the Foamposite Pro. But it's not really a sneaker that I think is held up too well through the decades, and I just don't think the hype is still there for the shoe, even for colorways like the Galaxy colorway. So for that reason, I think this more basic Foamposite Pro is probably gonna sit. Following that, we've got a hybrid shoe with the Vapor Max 95 Neon. Like, you guys know what I'm gonna say about this shoe. I don't like Vapor Max hybrids, and this is like the same as all the other ones. It just doesn't look good. The one saving grace about this shoe is that it's in this Neon 95 colorway, and that's just a huge selling point for a lot of people. However, I don't think it's enough to sell out the shoe, and honestly, I think it looks terrible, so for that reason, I'm gonna give the shoe a sit. Continuing on with August 16th, we've got another Air Max dropping, the Air Max 95 logo print. This is a white Air Max 95 with the Air Max logo plastered all over it. It reminds me a lot of the Just Do It collection. Not a huge fan of it, to say the least. I hate that I'm bashing all these shoes that are dropping, but honestly, none of them are really that strong. Even though the shoe is sort of gimmicky and sometimes people buy into that, I don't think it's gonna be enough to actually sell out the shoe, so for that reason, I'm gonna give it a sit. And then rounding off August 16th, we've got 4 Adidas PODs dropping. The 4 colorways include gray, clear orange, lilac, and maroon. All of these colorways are fine. There's nothing incredible. I think some of them, like the lilac colorway, is a women's only exclusive. So if you're a dude and you want that colorway and your feet are bigger than probably like a 9.5 or a 10, you might be out of luck. But I honestly don't really have anything to say about this shoe. You guys know everything there is to know about the PODs. I think they're a good shoe overall, but none of these colorways are really doing it for me. And I don't think they're gonna do it for a lot of other people as well. So I don't see any of these colorways selling out. Moving on to August 17th, we've got one shoe dropping, and that's the Kobe Protro in red, white, and black. This genuinely is a really great looking shoe. I'm a fan of the Kobe Protro model. I love the fact that they took the classic Kobe and re-engineered it with new technology. I think that's really cool. Also, this colorway is really, really clean. I love red. I think it looks great on this shoe, and I think a lot of people also are looking forward to this shoe. And I think there's a lot of Kobe fans and people who want to try out the Kobe Protro who have missed out on all the previous releases. So for that reason, I think this shoe is definitely gonna sell. Moving on to August 18th, we've got some pretty big releases. The first two releases come in the way of Zoom Streak Spectrum Plus Vaporwaves. Did I say that right? I did. Nice. These are both crazy loud sneakers, and to be fair, that definitely fits in with their design language, because if you remember from a couple months back, Supreme actually did a collaboration with Nike on the Zoom Streak Spectrum Plus, and on that polarizing collab, you had this sort of 90s inspired flame print that went along the sides of the sneaker. If you guys saw my review of that shoe, I wasn't a fan. These shoes, however, come in a more purple-green colorway and a melon tint colorway. Even though this shoe is definitely crazier looking than the Supreme collab, I personally think it looks better. The flames were just kind of tacky in my opinion, and this is so different and so out there that it just kind of pops. But with that being said, even though I haven't seen a lot of hype around these shoes, I do think people are going to be excited about them. So for that reason, I think they might actually sell out. Next up is a retro that a lot of people have been waiting for, the Air Jordan 4 Raptors. As you could probably tell from the name, this shoe comes in the Toronto Raptors colorway. You've got a primarily black upper with purple and orange accents throughout. Unfortunately, this shoe isn't exactly like the original, which is what I think a lot of people were hoping for, but it's still a clean shoe and people are very excited about it. And even in spite of its $200 price point, which I think is a little insane, the shoe probably will sell out. Then finally, rounding off August 18th, we've got three Pharrell Human Race colorways dropping. The first is the black, core red, and yellow colorway, which I think honestly might be the most popular out of the three. I actually have a pair coming in from StockX in this colorway, so make sure to stay tuned for the review. Also, shout out StockX for that. But in all honesty, I've got to say that this whole pack is a little insane. There's just so many design elements going on around the shoe, and it's like so much to process at once. But I think it's one of those cases in fashion where something is just so ugly that it actually kind of looks good. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, it's a Pharrell Human Race NMD, and those always sell out, so I don't see anything different happening from this particular colorway. I think it's gonna sell. Next is the Aqua Core Black colorway, which again is definitely a very out there sneaker. One thing I noticed about this drop is that they're all technically called Pharrell Human Race NMD Trails, even though their outsole isn't the same as the regular trail outsole. I have no idea why they would have changed that up. I don't know what the reasoning could have been. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think those outsoles could be from the ATR Ultra Boost mids that came out about a year ago. And those shoes were technically supposed to be all terrain, so maybe this outsole is just better than the other Pharrell Human Race Trail outsole. I have no idea. Again, same deal with this colorway. The shoe is definitely gonna sell out. And finally, rounding things off with the red and bright blue colorway. I guess this goes for all the shoes in the collection, but the one thing that really weirds me out about these Pharrells is that giant block that's in the middle with the text printed on it. Why did they need that? I have no idea. I think it's really weird, and that's probably the biggest sticking point for me on this design. But regardless, people will buy it. I mean, I did, and I've got a review coming, so again, stay tuned for that. So of course, like the other shoes in the collection, this Pharrell is definitely gonna sell out. Before we move on, I'd love to know your thoughts on which one of these three Pharrell colorways you like best, so make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know. Then moving on to August 22nd, we've got the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1. This is a biking themed Air Jordan 1, and it comes in sort of a pre-distressed sale colorway. It actually has a very similar vibe to the Lance Mountain ones that dropped a couple years back. To be 100% honest, I don't know anything about Nigel Sylvester. I think it's great that he's getting his own collab. I think it's a nice looking shoe overall. I do think it's a little weird that they pre-distressed the material. I think it gives it an interesting look, but one that was not really necessary. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, that's the idea behind the collab, but if you're going for a more distressed look, I kind of prefer the Sean Witherspoon approach, where it's like you get the shoe, you wear it a bunch, and it's designed to start looking really nice the more you wear it. Not as much something that already looks pre-worn. But at the end of the day, I am still a huge Air Jordan 1 fan, and this is still definitely a shoe that I'm trying to go for, and I think a lot of other people are also excited about this shoe, so I think the shoe is probably gonna sell. Next up, on August 23rd, we've got the KD11 in Black Persian Violet. I don't really have much to say about the KD11. I've never actually played in a pair, but I've heard it's all right. I guess out of all the colorways that have dropped, this is probably one of the more clean colorways. So if you're looking to grab a pair of KD11s, this might not be a bad way to go. But at the end of the day, it's just another KD11, so for that reason, I think the shoe is probably gonna sit. Continuing on to August 25th, we've got three Airmore up-tempos dropping. Each one of these up-tempos are country themed. That's actually not how I meant to describe it. Each one is themed after a specific country, not like country themed. There's a French pair, an Italian pair, and a UK pair. They're all fine. I'm kind of apathetic towards the Air More Uptempo at this point. There have just been so many retros of the shoe, I'm just kind of over it. And as you guys know, hype really drives sales for a lot of shoes, especially things like Air More Uptempos. I don't know much about the stock numbers for these shoes, but I don't think they're going to be extremely limited, and I just don't think there's enough hype behind them to actually sell each one of these shoes. So for that reason, I think all three are probably going to sit. But to be fair, they all could only be releasing in their respective countries, so they might not even be available in the US. I have no clue. Moving on to August 28th, we've got a follow-up to one of my favorite pickups of the entire year, the Air Jordan JTH in the beige colorway. If you guys remember, Justin Timberlake debuted the JTH Air Jordan 3 during the Super Bowl halftime show. The first release was essentially just a white cement 3 with the Tinker Hatfield 3M swoosh on the side. I thought it was, and still think it is, a really great looking sneaker, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection. This, of course, is the second variant of the shoe, and this time around it comes in a beige suede upper. Personally, I don't like this colorway as much as the original. I'm not a huge beige shoe fan, but with that being said, I still think it's a really nice looking sneaker, and it's still something I'm definitely going to be going for. Because of what it is and because of its limited nature, this shoe 100% is going to sell out. And then unfortunately, rounding off the month on August 30th with definitely one of the more weak releases of the month, we've got the Air Vapor Max Mach 2 in black and pink. This shoe is not going to sell out. But that pretty much wraps up the releases for the second half of August. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know which one of these shoes you're most excited for. Also, once again, huge thank you to Reshoevn8r for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out Reshoevn8r for yourself, make sure to click the link in the top of the description and use my discount code SETH for 10% off your entire order. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.